Assalamualaikum and a very good day to Dr. Marhazlina binti Mohamed and my fellow classmates. So in this video, my group will be presenting design for obesity among university students. So my group consists of me, Mohamed Ridzwan bin Jamislan, Nur AMIRAH binti IMRAN, Nurul SHAFIQAH binti SAMUD, Rabiatul NABILA binti ZAINAL ABIDIN, and one Mohamed ARIFF bin one AZHAN. Okay, so in the table of contents, we have D.E.S.I.G.N behaviors, explore determinants of change, select theory and clarify philosophy, indicate general objectives, generate plans, and nail down evaluation plan.
Assalamualaikum, I'm Arif. Now I'm going to explain the first three letters from design, which is D, E, and S. So the first letter is D, decide behaviors. So we assess issues and behaviors of our concern or for our audience in general, which are prevalence of overweight is 29%, while obese is 50%, according to WHO 2015. Meanwhile, 50.1% of adults in Malaysia were either overweight or obese, and 30.4% were overweight and 19.7% obese, according to NHMS 2019. Next, the frequency intake of sugar sweetened beverages are 2 cups daily, 49.4%, while 21.7% consume 3 cups daily, according to MJPHM 2020. So we also want to assess issues and behaviors of concern for specific audience that we are working with, which are the university students. So the issues are the cheap and easy accessibility towards sugar sweetened beverages (SSB) and peer influencers who consume more sweet beverages during hangouts when their friends do. So we also want to decide the behavior change goal, which is to limit and lessen intake of sugar sweetened beverages. Next, I'm going to explain the letter E, which is explore determinants of change. So for motivational theory-based determinants for behavior change, we use health belief model. So when university students said that consuming too much sugar drinks will impact their health in the future, this statement shows that determinants in this statement is perceived threats. And while when the students say it's hard for them to consume more plain water and to lessen sugary drink as it becomes their habit, this shows that determinants is perceived barriers. For facilitating theory-based determinants for behavior change, we use social cognitive theory. So when university students said that consume sugary drinks make them satisfied and as self-reward after done assignments or tests successfully, so this determinant is outcome expectation, self-evaluated. While when the university students said that they need to increase their perception on consuming more plain water is healthy and confident to lessen sugary drinks intake, this determinant is self-efficacy. Now let's move on to the third letter, S, which is select theory and clarify philosophy. So we already identified the socio-physiological variable, which is socio-economic status and peer influence. So when for health belief model, we already identified the motivational determinant, which is the perceived threats, which encourage and prevent them from frequently consume sweetened sugary beverages, and also the perceived barriers, which will change their thoughts and habits from consuming too much SSB. So from social psychological variable, when using social cognitive theory, we identified the facilitating determinant, which are outcome expectancies and self-efficacy. Outcome expectancies which will increase knowledge that SSB can prevent them from having a healthy lifestyle, while self-efficacy increase their confidence to drink plain water as their healthy lifestyle. So from this flow, we'll go to the same outcomes, which are the outcomes are to lower the intake and consumption of SSB, able to restrict themselves from consume too much SSB, exchange habits into consume more plain water, improve knowledge that sugary drink can worsen their health, and confident that drink plain water can make them become healthy.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur AMIRAH, and now I will proceed with the objective of this case study. Okay, for the motivational theory-based determinants, we use perceived threats and perceived barrier. With the perceived threats, the university student will be able to encourage and prevent themselves from frequently consuming too much sugary drinks. And number two, perceived barrier. By perceived barrier, the university students will be able to exchange their thoughts and habits from consuming too much sugary drinks into consuming plain water. Why plain water? Because it is more healthier. Okay, for the facilitating theory-based determinants, we have two, outcome expectation and self-efficacy. Outcome expectation, the university student will be able to increase their knowledge to identify that sugary sweetened beverages are very harmful and can prevent themselves from living a healthy lifestyle. Number two, self-efficacy. The university students will be able to uh, boost their confidence to consume more plain water compared to sugary drinks. Okay, now I will talk about the plans that the nutrition educators can do to prevent this problem among the university student. Okay, first, for the perceived traits, nutrition educator can showing the informative poster at the university. The poster may be about the statistic of the obesity and the complication of obesity at a young age. Okay, next, for the perceived barrier, activities that can be done, a nutrition educator can help a talk session or a health motivation session with the student to give the exposure to the students about the benefits that they may get from drinking more plain water. Okay, for the outcomes expectation, nutrition educators can do the activities by providing the informative videos and playing the videos at the university pages, social media pages. The video may be about the benefits of the plain water, that it can reduce the weight, give energize, and make them healthier. Okay, for the self-efficacy, nutrition educator can make a pamphlet or booklet that shows the scientific data about consuming more plain water can make them healthier. By doing this, the students can clear their misconception and make them confidence to reduce the sugary drink. Okay, next about the nail down evaluation plans. Outcomes that will be measured. Number one, to measure their intake and consumption of sugar sweetened beverages. Number two, to identify their abilities to restrict themselves from consuming drinks in their living in. Number three, identify their habits on intake of sugar sweetened drinks, whether it is still the same, decrease, or increase. Number four, to measure the university students' knowledge about the relationship of lowering risk of getting obese with consumption of plain water. And lastly, to measure their self-confidence, their desire and abilities to reduce the sugary drinks. Okay, tools that we use to measure the outcomes, we use FFQ, food frequency questionnaire, FFQ. We use MCQ, multiple choice question, diet recall questionnaire, and survey with skills on self-confidence. Okay, now we will look at the process evaluation tools to measure how the session went. Okay, number one, there is the decreased trending on the daily consumption of sugar sweetened drinks via the analysis of FFQ. Okay, number two, and their abilities to restrict themselves from consuming sugar sweetened beverages also increase via the analysis of MCQ. Number three, diet recall shows calorie deficit by the decrease of consumption of sweetened beverages and more intake of plain water. Number four, the student knowledge mostly increase about the relationship of sugar sweetened beverages with the risk of obesity by the questionnaire. This is by the questionnaire. And lastly, there is an increased increased trending on university student self-confidence, surveys and feedbacks on reducing sugary drinks in daily intake.